So this is my end of day recap for Tuesday. Um, Horrible day. I wanted bullishness going into this week, mainly because of NQ. YM and ES have both reached above all-time highs, and YM or R2Y and NQ are still below. But last week expanded higher and left equal highs here, right? And we are kind of just consolidating below them, just a continuation signature. Um, but I wanted to see on Monday. I already went over this, but I wanted to see C3 on Friday and then C4 continuation on Monday. Monday could have been clean, but it started to chop and be shut. But I took a loss during the driver because of that. So then price retraces away because we don't hit anything key at a premium on any asset. We don't create S&P with this high. Right? So we hit no key level. We saw the draw liquidity open. So we know this is likely retracement because there was no key level hit to form the high that we could wait from. And Monday created this gap here. So ideally this holds to go higher. I wanted to see. Which I know that GXT in his end of day recap for Tuesday said that this gap isn't really prominent, being pretty low because this is the gap low or high on YM, which is a feather swing. But so ideally YM does take this low up, right? So then form below the week, which is a relative swing, which is the refined kilo obviously. Form below the week off of, but yeah. But I still thought it was pretty prominent because of what price did away from it. So yeah, this is potentially the refined kilo that tomorrow can form the low day off of, turn reversal day, right? And ideally today opens lower into it. It does create S&P with that gap immediately during Asia. But then we kind of chop and don't have any follow through during 2200. So we're just not really prominent S&P, right? We're just chopping after forming the S&P. And then we create strength switch second state of D with current low here. But again, it's kind of shit because it's like this and it's YM is leaving equal lows here. It's still stuck with this consolidation. So pretty shit, but then price eventually displaces away from it, which confirms it. We formed the SMD here, and we just chop for a bit, so that you can view this as strength switch second stage of D itself right here, pretty much. And then immediately after that, we displace away, create this gap. And I was assuming driver continuation, sub equal highs here. Could have worked. I was wanting to see that. I'm not sure. I am. Yeah. I could have created a second stage PSP as me fall in the 90 minute to confirm the universal sequence. But price decides to just not do that during the driver. We create like this two stages of D like this in a way. That happened during the driver. But again, it's not really prominent because it's not really away from anything on NQ. Right, kind of form it like this. It's kind of weird, but this was the strength switch here. Right. Shit, S&T. I remember GXT was saying that it's because it wasn't close proximity key levels. Like we form this S&T here and we just don't reverse away from it. Then we finally do kind of V-shape in a way, no real gap. So and then we form the structures like this, which is SMD break on YM, which could potentially make sense because of the SMD break, but also AMD variously, essentially breaking out of this range, low range high, with SMD break, switch with second stage is D on NQ. But still pretty ass. My bias is bullish, I really don't care for it. So after 930, I thought this range was going to hold, and we were going to continue from this gap, and then maybe potentially I trade down the driver, or maybe I trade Tenium, etc. Continuation, but we just don't respect the gap. So now it's like almost like a seek and destroy profile. Even lower, hit higher, we just chop. It's literally just short consolidation. So we do create SMT with this low, which is like I wouldn't want to see price really super slow. Like ideally, this string switch second stage of D held during 6 a.m. going into 10 a.m. If I thought we were sweeping this, just makes everything super unclean. And like maybe we do form string switch second stages of D here going into 10 a.m. But yeah, I don't really care. It's just double sweep. I really don't care for it. We don't even do it anyway, so obviously. We do create it here though, technically. But we form that SMT and then we have an inside bar. So then we're anticipating the next kind of open up and just expand away during low in. I don't think it does, but yeah, no. I don't know. I really don't like it. So yeah, so I pretty much stopped tapering at around 11 a.m. because I knew this day was lower probability, super unclean, shitty. What really, like I said, what really made today unclean was staring at the driver. If that held, then I probably would have tried this. Yeah, it's really as simple as that. But let's go through the top round again, real quick. What I really wanted to see is pretty much internal decks from the daily. Super clean for those rooms at the highest. Possibly Tuesday low of the week, right? Confirmed that they David's more. C2, reverse into expansion kill. And that is French Switch second stage S&P at 2 a.m. here. And then price displaces away from that. Crazy cap, which that displacement away confirms the S&P. So we want to see after price forms this S&P. All S is V shape, even line has clean equal highs, yes as well. But yeah, so what I wanted to see is right now we're trading continuation, right? The leading asset in continuation. Away from the universe sequence. So if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna demand either second stage PSP S&P fill or a string switch second stage PSP, which the 90-minute could have possibly created that second stage PSP S&P fill. And then say the driver opened up, traded into that, created that second stage PSP S&P fill, and then V-shaped away cleanly on the 5 minute with an ICC. I would probably take that. But the driver opens up, just fucking tank slower. So, so now, like I said, when I saw this, I was like, okay, I'm not deeper into it. I was still looking though. I was still like thinking maybe we could have some do this one. Maybe we could trade ESS lag and outside continuation to create a gap here to break that S&T because in reality, it's still really shit because we're just in consolidation. But we technically create S&T with SI here during with YM. All S is V-shaped lower. and the leading asset reached the draw on liquidity. We know that this is like the first do because what it lost to the reversal, they reshaped or slower. And this S&P is being printed with an OT on the lagging assets. So I was like, possibly I could trade ES as the middle last continuation to break this S&P. Nice further strength at the lows. But again, it's really shit. The daily profile is ass. It's more of it's more seeking, pretty much seeking destroy. And my bias is bullish, right, overall. So this would be a counter trend trade. So yeah, not something I would want to take. Really it lines with the bias. I really don't like how price came back up like this, back into this range, which is pretty much OT above EQ. I really do not like that. I don't think we form trend switching. But yeah. I don't know if that is or not. It does, but something that could have possibly possibly been the trend switch to break this SMD. But complete counter trend trade. Yeah. Check that out. Yeah, we closed really far below that CC. I only 3-minute either. That's shit. I would probably use a 500. So I mean, I would have to enter probably off this gap. That was ass, and with the daily profile being pretty much seeking destroy. And this low is beyond the current day low. Yeah, obviously not taking that, but just ship day. It's really hard to accept that. I've figured out that it's hard for me to accept that there's no trade for the day, which is really bad. It's a form of FOMO, pretty much. That's literally FOMO, fear of missing out, and just gotta accept it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I really don't know what else to say. There's really not much more to say. I think I covered everything. So.